Tell everybody the good news of Corey LaJoy, and I appreciate it.
Corey LaJoy is going to see the checkered flag.
Took my nickname Super Shoe, get my shoe away in the stand, so whoever makes the most noise is going to get my shoe.
What is going on, y'all? This is Josh from Team Super Shoe, and welcome back to another episode of the Shoe Show. We're not talking about brand new Rick Ware racing shoes Corey's wearing right now. No, we're talking about the one and only Corey LaJoy, the super shoe of NASCAR, and just anything NASCAR related. Super pumped to have you guys here today live. We are now finally on the brand new The Shoe Show podcast Facebook page. So I'm glad you guys are there. And it seems like people love Facebook a little bit more than they love YouTube. So I'm glad to finally bring it back to you guys, because they took it away from us for a little bit, because we used to do it on the old Team Super Shoe page. We are also live on YouTube. If you could do me a solid and click like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and share it. Let everybody know that there actually is Corey LaJoy fans out there, and not everybody is crap talking them. Today, we are hanging out with two buddies from Team Super Shoe, Mason Ellis and Scott Willits. They're stopping by, and we're pre-gaming Talla-Damn-Dega just in a couple hours. We're going to be talking about Corey's chances, his recent stats, and how good of a run he's been on lately, and going to be talking about our favorite Dega moments. And finally, we're going to be introducing us to some of the crew members from the 51 team, and just kind of looking at where all these guys have come from and how they've gotten to where they are. If y'all could please, like I said earlier, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share it, go like us on the Facebook page. And if you haven't hung out with us on Team Super Shoe, it's a group on Facebook where it's 4,000 strong, and that's where we have a lot more conversation there than we do here. This is kind of just something that spawned from that. Otherwise, y'all, let's bring in our friends and let's talk some racing. And we're here. How y'all doing?
Doing good. How about you?
All right.
Good, man. Good. Mason, where are you from? Where y'all at?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah.
You go to races often?
Speedway. Oh yeah. We went to a few races this year, finally outside of Kansas Speedway, so that was fun.
Nice.
I've been probably going to Kansas Speedway for about 15 years now. So.
Okay.
But,
cool,
yeah.
Man. Nice. And Scott, I forget where are you at? Where you broadcast from again?
Right in central Pennsylvania, halfway in between Williamsport and State College, and a little town called Beach Creek.
Nice. Good deal. Well, appreciate y'all coming on the show. We were going to have our buddy Jeff Lagro also come on and tell us about his experience. He went to the Kansas Speedway last weekend. Yeah, I think last weekend, the first weekend of the 51 team, and he got to hang out behind the wall. So unfortunately, he's had some things come up today, and his family members in the hospital. So thoughts and prayers with him, and look forward to talking to him later, because I'm sure he has some pretty damn cool stories. So today I kind of wanted to, first off, let's chat about the 51 team. This is the first show we've had since the switch of going from Spire to Rick Ware. And so kind of wanted to just chat about some things. I did some research and did the best I can to bring some information to the new team that hopefully will be on the Shoe Show sooner than later. So our first guy here is crew chief Chris Lawson. He previously worked with Todd Gilliland in the NASCAR West Series for Bill McAleny. I'm not sure I'm going to say that, racing, where they won 2 consecutive championships in 2016 and 17, and they raced 12 races together. I'm not sure what that means, but prior to becoming a crew chief, he was a driver for kind of an underfunded start and park team in ARCA in 2011. Lawson gained notoriety in 2011 as I guess it was controversial that he ended up replacing Jennifer Jo Cobb at Bristol in that second chance motorsports number 79 car. Cobb left the team after having a dispute with the owner because she didn't want to start and park. And the Rookie of the Year contender that year was initially set to be the team substitute driver, Charles Lewandowski. But he was unable to get prepared and get in the seat. So they kind of jumped to Chris here, who ended up jumping in the race, and that kind of set his short racing career up. Apparently that ended up being his last as a driver. So kind of a bummer, but cool that he seems to be doing good things for Rick Ware Racing. J.R. Norris, he goes by JR. He is the car chief. He has worked on several NASCAR teams, including DEI, Dale Earnhardt Inc., Speedway Motorsports Inc., Michael Waltrip Racing, and it also says Spire Sports Plus Entertainment. I'm not sure if that means Spire or not, but I do believe somebody said that he also worked for Spire for a short time in Trackhouse Racing. He was instrumental in establishing Trackhouse Racing as a competitive force in NASCAR Cup Series after they were founded in 2021. An old article I found said that he is the 2006 champion of the AutoZone Elite Division, which I think that sports car or that card is from, and will compete in a part-time basis for the number 715. It kind of talks about, this was an actual article in like from 07 or so. And it looks like he continued through those lower end racing to ended up in the ARCA Menard series driving a number 4 Ford. Showing you pictures there on the right, both for him as well as Chris here. That actually is our buddy Derek that's out at Talla-Damn-Dega right now and ran into him. So Chris would be the guy on the left there. And then the middle guy in the group there, that is JR. Kyler Mashburn. So Kyler, we had a little bit of a hard time trying to find some information about him. I did think it was kind of funny that this LinkedIn picture was this old 90s or maybe 80s picture of Jeff Gordon. I thought that was pretty funny. Jeff had it going on back then. And he got his bachelor's in engineering in 2023, started with Rick Ware in 2022, and that's where he currently is. All right, so this is Chris Crazy Osborne. He has been in the sport for a long time. I unfortunately couldn't find a ton of information about him other than that he was racing with Matt Kenseth in the 20 Gibbs car in 2016 when he had unfortunately in the family. I was going to show this video real quick.
My wife and my son and I were coming home from Charlotte, and we're about 7 minutes away from home. Come up to a curve, tire left, and a car came around the corner at a pretty high rate of speed, lost control, hooked left, and came back across our travel lane. And I hit him in the passenger side door and pretty much drove through the car. Austin was screaming that he couldn't breathe. He had a partially collapsed lung, cracked sternum, bruised ribs. One of the medics said, you know, you're losing a lot of blood here. We need to really get you going. And I just told him family first. I really just became focused on trying to get Melissa to try to calm down and get her as comfortable as I possibly could. The recovery process is going really well. Austin still has to have a little dental work done, but other than that, Austin's doing really well. Myself, I'm still working through trying to get on both feet and be stable. Hopefully in a week or two here, I'm going to be able to put down the crutches and the cane and be able to go with my own mobility and without any assistance. Melissa, she's made a miraculous recovery. She still has a long road ahead of her with her injuries and getting back to 80, 90%, but she is up, mobile, and out of the wheelchair and doing well.
It's been a tough start for Matt Kenseth.
It was really tough sitting at home with the driver-spotter relationship. I know what they expect, and I know what's expected of me. I would like to think that had I been there, we would have had a shot at winning the Daytona 500. On the last lap, I'm starting to spot from the couch, knowing that nobody's listening, but it's just natural reaction. I would have just approached it, especially from the center of the backstretch to the start-finish line, a little differently. But in no way, shape, or form can I tell you that anything would have been different.
Are you serious? We were black flag for 5 laps and nobody knew it.
It was a totally different situation. It was a different spotter than what they had for 2 weeks at Daytona, but those things just happen.
Who's that up there?
This is your partner in crime.
Oh, Crazy's back. What's up, Crazy?
Man, you don't know how good it is for my voice to be heard. It feels great to be back. I miss everything about the track, doing my job and being in my comfort zone.
So thought that was pretty heartwarming and pretty cool to see that he, overcame that and is still doing the job that he loves. And spotting is very important. Like he was talking about how Kents have had issues with, getting black flagged and communication is key, man. So excited to see that. Obviously they kept him around for the 20 car. So that must mean he's doing pretty well for himself. So excited to see him come over to Corey LaJoie. So my last guy I wanted to bring up is the one and only Tommy Baldwin. So he is the competitive director. He was the majority owner of the Tommy Baldwin Racing and in the Cup Series. His father, Tom Baldwin, was a championship modified driver. Baldwin himself briefly pursued a racing career before becoming a mechanic. He spent 23 years as a crew chief in the Cup Series. He sat in the pit box for 629 races and celebrated 5 wins. I'm sure it's more from this article. This is something that I'm sure was written a year or so ago, but 4 were with Ward Burton, including the 2002 Daytona 500. The 5th was with Casey Kane for his wins. Former NASCAR Cup Series team owner Tommy Baldwin Jr. announced on Sunday that he was. He also was announced that he was diagnosed with cancer. This was a few years. It was 2023, and he temporarily shut down his Whelen Modified Tour team. And in August of last year, he announced the news that today I post that no one ever wants to hear. I have cancer. It's treatable, but this week of racing will be the last for a while for the Tommy Baldwin Racing team. Going to take a break and begin treatment to beat it in the ground. So I'm hoping he's doing well. I haven't read it. I did a lot of research trying to find out about these guys, and but I imagine he has beaten it, or he's doing really well with that. So wanted to know y'all's thoughts. I mean, this is brand new to all of us. We unexpectedly switched from, Spire, and, we knew he wasn't going to be coming back, but it happened so quick that now all of a sudden, we have to kind of, okay, who are we listening to this weekend? Okay, who's on the box, or what's their chemistry like, right? So we've been used to the same thing for 3-4 years. So Mason, we'll start with you, man. I wanted to know what you think of him going to the 51, and you think it's a good thing?
I do. I mean, the way the Ford's been running all year, really, it's been good. There really hasn't been any downfalls. Only thing I could probably see coming along is just communication, because obviously we saw last weekend with Justin Haley, he's not used to the 7th spotter. I think communication is going to be a big key, especially with super speeder racing, but in the rest of the season with them. Going in a new family, it's definitely hard to adapt. It's like you started a new job. You're adapting to all the new people, and it just takes time to acclimate yourself. And but otherwise, I think it's going to be good for him. I think he's going to do well, and I think he's going to exceed what Rick wants him to do.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, what about you, brother? What do you think?
Well, to be honest with you, I think it's going to be a learning curve, and having Chris Lawson as a crew chief, once Chris nails down this car, I think it's going to be great. I mean, look at if you look at him in the Truck Series, 110 starts between 10 different drivers in 6 years, 7 wins, 2 of which were with Sammy Smith, 20, or was it Sammy Smith or Zane Smith? One of the Smiths. He had 4 wins in 2022 and 2 wins in 2023 in the trucks. Him as a crew chief, I think, is going to be great and beneficial for Corey itself. Let alone, Corey said numerous times on his podcast that it's a winning, aspired team. It's guys that know what it's like and guys that want to get to that point. And then you have Crazy, who's the spotter. Obviously, we just watched that heartfelt video. But I mean, he's got how many wins with Matt Kenseth, and as well as he was a spotter for Ryan Blaney. So the man knows how to spot. It's just trying to get our driver used to the verbiage and everything along the lines and getting him more comfortable inside that car. Because it's no doubt that Ford is outperforming Chevy this year for sure.
Yeah. Yep. I would agree. And I'm excited to see what happens, man. I mean, I can't say that I am super, I was not pumped when I first heard it. I unfortunately, you see Rick Ware struggling just as bad as Legacy is. And I was like, oh man, I don't know what's this going to bring. But, and he went from, Spire, who is probably 150 employees, give or take, this year, to a year ago, pretty much doing exactly the same thing he did when he first started last year and the year before, of like 30 employees for 2 cars. So kind of going backwards, but that could be a good thing. I mean, I to be honest, I was much happier of a Corey LaJoie fan when they were a smaller team. It seemed like the things seemed to be dialed in a little bit better. Corey was making the right decisions on the track, and not that we got a win, but we had something to cheer for every week. And this year it has not been the case. So speaking of which, before we go on to the next subject of Michael Bosick, who said hello from Talla-Damn-Dega, I want to upload this. It was it kind of came up to me. He sent it to me last minute. So give me a sec here. But Derek just had his kind of meet and greet with Team Super Shoe out there. And it was a pretty good turnout. So wanted to show it. I asked him if he wanted me to show it, and he said sure. And he's definitely winning the contest this year of us having to wear T-shirts that we don't want to wear. Let's see this processing. Let's see if it'll go in. Here we go. So that is them behind the NASCAR haulers. We got our buddy that has been on the page. That I guess drives it and runs that place. And so pretty cool to see everybody that showed up. So, and Mike is there. He goes to 17 races a year, and Derek. And so I'm pretty jealous. I wish I was there. Definitely wish I wasn't in Florida right now, but you know what? Deal with it. So, pretty cool. So next thing I wanted to talk about is our favorite Talladega moments, and kind of wanted to just kind of start it off with you, Scott. You had picked the highlight here of the 2010 Aaron's 499. So I'm gonna play it real quick, and then just we'll chat about it after.
Staying to the inside, the 2 leaders have no drafting help, but they are scooting away from the pack. 3 corners to go.
Now Harvick, he'll keep pushing him, and he'll get over here to the travel, try to make the slingshot on him.
As soon as he knows that he doesn't have to worry about that 3rd place car of Montoya, he probably will try to make the move, although I don't know if it'll do him any good or not.
Last chance through the trial.
Here he comes!
Here they come!
It's Harvick! He got him! He timed it perfect! He got him!
Mr. Where did he come from? Wins Talladega.
He got him! He timed it picture perfect. And McMurray opened that bottom just enough.
So tell me, man, why'd you pick that one?
Oh man, it just I don't know. It hits me in the feels every time watching that move, and how Larry McReynolds called it the entire time that Harvick was going to do that move. But It was dubbed by Michael Waltrip as the greatest Dega race in that booth that day because there was 88 lead changes between 29 different drivers, and it came down to that pass right there by Harvick, so he could win it in a matter of, I believe it was 11 thousandths of a second, passing Jamie McMurray. I mean, just the whole race, there was 8 cautions for 32 laps, and the big one happened literally right before that. That was a green-white checkered finish right there that you saw. It just, you can't negate the fact that the drafting track that day was showing up, and the two-car team won it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So yeah, I remember that, and hopefully we have a good nail biter today too. That's what makes Talladega and Daytona and now Atlanta, something special. Is that I mean, I've been to many Daytona races. I've been to one Dega race and Atlanta as well, but with this the new style that it is now. But it's feast or famine. I either go there, I either leave happy or leave pissed off. I'm usually pissed off. My driver gets usually wrecked out. So, yeah, man. So, all right. Well, Mason, you had picked the 2011 spring race, Burton versus Boyer. I'm going to show it real quick and we'll chat about it.
Far clear of the pack. Does Boyer pull out and try and win? There's a chance that Boyer might try to pull out and win when they get to the trial. Here he goes. Here he goes. Does the pack have a chance to run him down?
Side over there, you and him. No pressure.
Side by side in contact. The pack is not going to catch him. They bounce still got a shot. Clint Boyer gets the win.
I don't know who won that. Good job, Clint.
Another frantic Talladega finish. We heard the radio conversation between Burton and Boyer about how quickly they needed to get together to hold off the competition. They did it, others around them faltered, and then they raced for it between themselves.
That's exactly why Clint Boyer wanted to get Jeff Burton out there so they could get far enough that he might could make a move to have a chance to win this race. That was passing at his perfection there.
So tell me, man, what brought that to be one of your favorite memories?
Well, my dad was a huge RCR fan. He followed Dale from a long ways back. That for some reason, I'm a youngin'. I vaguely remember that race, but I remember the ending mostly because my dad loved Boyer, my dad loved Burton. I've never seen the entertainment center shake as much as it was when he was jumping up and down. But he was a diehard RCR fan, and Boyer's a hometown boy. We've always loved him. It was just, from what I can remember from it, it was a great race, and that's probably one of the most exciting moments I've ever seen my dad jumping up and down and darn near knocking the TV off the dang entertainment center. But other than that, it was really memorable for me, and I like to look back on those kind of memories nowadays because it makes me happy, and he's the main reason I got into it, and that's probably the one race I remember with him, and it'll stick with me forever.
That's awesome. Well, you guys both have shared a tandem style drafting finishes here. If you had a choice and NASCAR could wave the magic wand, would you rather it be a tandem again, or would you rather it be pack like it is?
See, I enjoy pack racing. I enjoy tandem racing. What I don't like is follow the leader. I don't like the single file. I want to be able to see two cars get together, and if they have the power, they have the power. If they don't, they don't. But the single file stuff is just it's not my thing. That just makes the race a boring one. And I'm not saying I want a bunch of wrecks either. There needs to be racing. It just can't be followed leader half throttle.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'd love to see the tandem come back. I mean, it was definitely because it came down to the line where it was nonstop. It was just those two drivers that were out front somehow fighting for the lead.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was more entertaining at that time. I mean, granted, nobody likes the single file racing. I mean, the two lanes and then singling out, it just doesn't work anymore. Like, I wish they would do something to bring the tandem back for it, especially drafting tracks.
Yeah. That's always been the challenge with these races, is that they have some incredible, wow moments, whether it's the finish or the wrecks or whatever happened. But in the bulk of the race, it does get kind of boring. They just kind of sit there because they know they don't want to take the risk. They know the name of the game and that they just want to make sure they finish on, have fuel, have tires, and they'll bolt to the end. So that's always been a struggle. I do feel like Atlanta has been the savior to that, because I feel like it's almost like the older style Daytona racing there now, where it's like, they're a little bit separated. You can get those big runs. And so Atlanta's been my favorite. I do obviously, enjoy Daytona and Talladega as well. But yeah, like you guys said, man, that is kind of a little bit of an issue. So I bring it up because my choice that I would have picked, but I didn't, because I guess great minds think alike. But Corey said his favorite moment was the Talladega race of Jimmy Johnson getting pushed by Junior right at that last second, just that last lap. Again, a tandem race. And so I didn't want to say that because probably most people watching this have seen that as well. So I picked a different one. But before we get to that, I wanted to show our buddy Jeff Lager that was going to be on the show. He had two of them that he picked. So I was going to show both of those, and then I'll finish it up with one of my favorite memories. So here's Jeff's first 2000 Talladega race when Dale Sr. won.
He's on the apron of the racetrack, Ned. He saves the race car up almost against bottom of the body. Dale Earnhardt Sr. has come from 17th spot in 4 laps to lead it on the final lap. But Kenny Wallace is in second spot, followed by his teammate, Joe Nemechek. Nemechek was the pole sitter, and Kenny Wallace has likewise never won a Winston Cup race. 3 Chevrolets on the final lap at Talladega. $2.7 million and $1 million bonus for Dale Earnhardt if he can hang on. The No Ball 5 contender, Mr. Restricted Place, Dale Earnhardt comes down and will take his 10th career victory at Talladega in the Winston 500. And a wreck. A crash as the team across the start-finish line.
It was wild. I didn't have any thought that I'd have a chance at winning this race, starting where I did on that restart. Boys, as we kept working away and got on the outside, Kenny Wallace really worked hard with us, and he done a good job. I don't think we would have got back up there if it wasn't for Kenny.
How did you get back up there?
He stayed with me. Once we got together, he stayed with me, and he pushed me to the outside of them guys. And
I believe that was his last win. Am I right?
Yeah, it was his last win before the dreaded day.
Yeah. So that was, I believe that was a fall race of 2000. And then his second pick was the 2009 famous Edwards Keselowski final lap.
He can step out until he waits till the last second and picks up.
He goes to the outside. Is Edwards going?
Oh, no!
He turns him.
No!
Oh, and that destroyed the front end of Newman's car.
No!
Edwards will not make it to the flag.
Oh,
Brad Keselowski won this race.
Unbelievable.
Carl Edwards' car destroyed, and Junior's protege, Keselowski, the winner, and Carl Edwards is moving around and ready to climb out.
Larry, look at that. The carburetor's gone off.
It's completely gone.
Carl did what he wanted to do. He stayed at the back all day long. He played it smart. Had this race possibly won. Not now. Not sure where Carl's going. Maybe he thinks if he runs across the start-finish line, it'll count.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
He's like you know how he is. He's an athlete, a marathon runner. I want to finish the race.
And he did, standing ovation from the crowd. Shades of Ricky Bobby.
Weird. Did you guys see that? Kyle Busch spun somebody out at the end. I didn't know he wrecked people. So.
Wow. I'm so surprised by that.
I'm going to have to do more research. I haven't been paying attention. All right. So, yeah, I remember that, man. That was, I remember back in the day, I used to like Carl Edwards just because his personality of him running across the start-finish line. But as I've gotten older, I've realized how much of, I didn't like him. Like, he was, he had quite a temper, and the reliving. I've done research from a prior episode of kind of relived the Keselowski and Edwards beef that they had, and bro, Edwards was like out there trying to kill Keselowski. I mean, I get shoving each other around or roughing each other up, putting each other in the wall, but bro, some of those wrecks were just unbelievable. But you'd see him on TV, and he seemed like the nicest guy in the world, you know. But well, oh, go ahead, man. What'd you have to say?
Oh, no,
I was
no,
going to say.
just agreeing with you.
Oh yeah, the only thing I really remember of Carl Edwards is constantly backflipping for some reason.
Yeah, he was quite the entertainer. Quite shocking to see how he retired so early. A lot of people think that he just left heartbroken. That I think it was Kenny Wallace that said on his Kenny Wallace show on YouTube. He had mentioned that he thinks Carl Edwards left heartbroken after he lost with the tie with Tony Stewart years back, 10 years ago or whatever it was. And, I think he just got fed up. I think that's what Kenny Wallace was thinking. So it's quite interesting. It's very odd for a driver to retire that early. And then he's just been off the map. So, but I'm sure he's doing great for himself. So
I keep seeing articles where he's saying he's loving this style of racing. And I think he said something about whenever Burton won the 100th win for the Wood brothers, it was like his whole entire family was celebrating in the living room because of how excited that race was for everybody involved.
Yeah, man. Well, my pick, since like I said, I would have picked, I also was a Jimmy fan back when this happened, so I would have picked the tandem win of Jimmy and Dale Jr. going and winning the Talladega race, but I felt like that was too easy, and especially since Corey went and talked about on his podcast. So instead, I'm going to show, I probably was 3 months old when this happened, 1986, when the pace car got stolen.
We understand it's been stolen. The officials are not driving this thing, and somebody has actually gotten into the pace car and stole it.
There are at least 2 policemen on motorcycles, plus this car, that are pursuing the pace car right now. And up till now, the pace car has not been caught. They've created a roadblock there coming off of turn number 4, head toward the tri-oval, and we think there is some unusual drama occurring here.
Let's see what happens when he gets to the roadblock. Will he try to go through it, or will he stop and be captured? And I guess he's going to stop. Well, this is certainly
Well, I've heard the story of that man who makes a living by going around crashing parties, but this is certainly a first.
And you can see the crowd standing and applauding the officials who finally have captured this thief.
It has been a bizarre day. We underwent a period of about 10 minutes where the track was without power. At least many of the significant points, including the press box, our broadcast facilities, as well as the public address, had no power. That was about a half hour ago, and now this occurs. So some strange and bizarre occurrences before the start of the Winston 500.
Well, you can see that they're dealing with this individual rather sternly and trying to get him out of the car so that we can get everybody back in place and begin this Winston 500. But boy, what an unbelievable way to start the event here. And you can see more officials.
So that is just the actual broadcast. I would highly recommend anybody who wants to go down memory lane or wants to see it for the first time. Somebody actually did a full 20-minute little video on YouTube, channel NFJJ. So just those 4 letters, NFJJ. That's not the video that one was from. That's from a separate one, but he narrates over it and did all the research to talked about how the guy got in there in the first place, how he got the opportunity to steal the pace car that was on pit road right after the national anthem, and the drivers just started their engines, and he just hopped in there after taking a test ride near the racetrack and just drove into the tunnel, and apparently he wasn't even a NASCAR fan. He legitimately it was a crime of chance, and so it seems, at least. So I did some research on it. First off, the crowd was not cheering on the officials. The crowd was, from what I've researched, they were chanting for him, "We're driving the grass." They wanted them to keep going, So he kind of fought with the cops a little bit inside of the car, and then he ended up he was ended up taken to jail and held on a 10 grand bond. And I mean, 10 grand bond is big now, let alone back in 1986. And his charges were unauthorized use of a vehicle, resisting arrest, and others. I guess I'm curious if they would charge him with auto theft, considering he just drove it around the track that it still stayed at. Like he didn't take it off into the public roadway. But interesting to read all this. DUI was not one of the charges, and his name was Darian Crowder, and back then he was 20 years old. So he unfortunately found out that he passed away in 2016, only at the age of 51. And he seems like a fan. I saw like an obituary website, and it seemed like he was a really good dude. So I'm glad that he gave us that memory that we can still talk about to this day. So
was it just me, or did it look like they yanked him out by his hair?
They did.
In that
yeah,
video?
I watched that. I noticed that. Yeah, well, I watch it because I'm involved, and I was watching it. There is also a cop or official or whoever it was that jumped in the passenger seat right when it stopped, and I'm like, that's a really stupid tactic, but that's just how my brain operates. So I thought it was pretty funny, and I would not put it past Mike today. I don't know if he has a VIP today or not, but if he's out in the crowd and Corey wins, good chance Mike's getting arrested some way. I hope he does something cool like that, or climbs a fence. I don't know, but
steal an AMR pace truck.
Yeah. So
living proof that the Boulevard has been causing havoc for years.
Yeah, man. Have you guys been out to Talladega?
I have not. That's a bucket list track.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've been there once, and it was probably in late 90s, and I would have been 10 to 13, and I barely remember it. Literally, the only thing that I remember back then, I was a 43 fan. I think it was Andretti, and the only thing I remember is talking to some guy who he custom made his own shoes, and they were just ragged, and they were Dale Earnhardt #3 shoes, and he was very proud of them, and he was telling us all about them. And that's all I remember. That's all I remember. I don't remember who won the race. I don't remember if I liked the place and liked the facility. I have no idea. And I mean, I was 10, so it's not like I could really enjoy the Boulevard or anything, but
man, I'll tell you, these fans getting creative with customizing gear and taking it to the track and wearing it all the time, it's just a little weird anymore.
Well,
people are getting smart. Very creative. A little too creative.
Yep. I won't show you the hat that I painted the 7 out of, so I can still wear it.
I'm waiting for the new helmet front, just saying.
Yeah. Well, so my last topic I kind of wanted to bring up with you guys is Corey's chances today. He has always been great at these draft style racetracks. And his last 5 finishes have been 9th at Darlington, 15th at Atlanta, 8th at the Glen. He unfortunately was wrecked out by Josh Berry and came in 36th at Bristol, but he was having a promising day there as well. And last week was 15th in the brand new 51 crew. So, which I was ecstatic. I felt like maybe I should, maybe we should kind of lower our bracket a little bit of expectations just because of Rick Ware and how underfunded they are. But I was really happy to see that maybe he's the missing piece that pushes them forward. So I'm excited about that. Corey's last 3 Talladega finishes have been 25th, 4th, and 18th. So out of all of the drafting style tracks, this is statistically his worst. But he still knows how to get it done. He still goes up there and leads, and it's a big old fast-paced checkers, a big old fast-paced game of picking your right lane at the right time, and it's like the real life drafty car, So, so wanted to ask y'all what you expect today. Think he's finally getting that first win, and if not, who you think is going to get it?
Now, he's really good at drafting tracks, but everyone is. That's the deal. But here's the deal, though, that when he finished 18th, I think it was earlier this year, he was on his door. So you can't really blame that on him. And considering his last few finishes have been at 4 different type of discipline, Darlington is its own deal, road course and super speedway, and then Kansas. He knows how to figure out how to work a car, and especially last week at Kansas, he learned that car pretty fast. With the alliances that Rick Ware Racing has, and I'm not a stat guy, I'm not in like particular with stuff, but if I remember correctly, there is a slight RFK alliance, and being that Fords are ridiculously good at super speedways with as minimal drag as they have, I think that if he is able to get mid-pack or maybe even close to the front, near Brad Kay or Michael McDowell or Todd, or is it Todd Gillen? Yeah, Todd Gillen.
Yeah.
If he gets around any of those Ford guys who know how to win super speedways, who know how to push, I have a feeling he has a really good chance. He just has to time the blocks. He's got to time the moves, and he has to know where everyone else is at on either pit strategy or on the racetrack in general. If they're having problems going down the straight or in the corners, if they're not stable in the corners. But I think he's got as good a chance as anybody. But especially being in a new team, you can't tell. He's only ridden with them 1 week. You don't know how well these cars do with him behind the wheel, because to be completely honest with you, Rick Ware Racing hasn't had the best finishes all year in general. But to see him behind the 51, I think he's going to have a really good chance today. Like I said, if he can get another Ford behind him, like McDowell, like Keselowski, like Buescher, I think it's going to be good for him today. I think he's got a pretty decent chance to get up there and lead some laps, maybe even win a stage, and hopefully in the end get that win.
Yeah. Scott, how are you feeling, man?
I mean, it's like you said, statistically, it's one of his worst performing tracks. I mean, he averages a finish of 20th. Granted, he averages an 11 positions better than where he starts usually. I think the drafty car practice is going to help pay off today. Yep. Especially, I mean, Talla-Damn-Dega, anything can happen. As long as he can keep out of the big one, keep his nose clean. I mean, look at last week. Nobody thought he was going to perform at all with Rick Ware, and he drove the car to a top 15, which was a record for Rick Ware Racing. I think he's starting to get more comfortable with the Ford and the whole transition, and mentally he's just more comfortable there. I don't doubt that he's going to be easily top 5 today. And especially since, I mean, the P9 at Darlington came on my wife's birthday. So her celebrating something's got to be good luck. Considering it's our anniversary today, I'm hoping he gives me the gift of that big W. All right. Like I definitely see him up front, especially if he links up with another Ford team and they just take that track by storm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I would agree. Obviously it's just 1 week of being in the 51 car, and we all as Corey LaJoie fans, if we've been around long enough, we know that just because we do good 1 week doesn't mean we're going to be doing good the next week. So every week, every racetrack is totally different. However, this has always been a track that he seems to have a good head at, and he always seems to know when to push to go up to the front. I'm just hoping that, my personal thought is, I hope that he's pushing to stay up there, go try to be in the top 5 or top 10 all day, as opposed to wait till the end of the race and that pay window opens, because as we have seen, unfortunately, with this new car, even at plate races or speedway races, they are not these cars are hard. They're one of the hardest cars, if not the hardest cars that Cup Series has ever had to pass each other. So they are having constant issues with, like, it seems to be like it's all about track position. I'm sure we're going to have 20 or 30 different leaders as I say that today, but I hope that that's something that they have a game plan of doing, or that, the car is set up and ready for. But yeah, it would be awesome. Either way, though, I'm always excited with Talladega. It's always an exciting, it's always a good day. So we'll see, man. I'm excited. And speaking of drafty car, I don't know if you guys noticed, but that jersey he put out, he has there's a little like Drafty Car Pro Cup logo on it. So I think that's kind of funny. So I don't know if that means it's going to be on his car in the future, but either way, it's a good shout out.
It's good brand exposure for the creator too.
I mean, one can hope that Drafty Car sponsors him, especially at a super speedway. Come on.
Like, yeah, this was it. It would have now. It has to be Daytona. So,
like, come on, Drafty Car on the car for Daytona 500 would be perfect.
Oh,
just chef's kiss. Like, and somebody's got to get a hold of the creator and be like, "Yo, make it happen." Like,
let's go fund me for funding.
Absolutely. If I have to, I'll sell both of my children just to make it happen. Like, and it's recorded, contract signed. Let's go.
All right.
Hey,
well, for people that don't want to buy to sell their kids, you can always just pay $10 and get the ad-free app that they have out now. So otherwise, you have to sit there and get advertised about a bunch of stuff that you'll never do. So
if you listen to the podcast, Skip gave a very good point. Airplane mode. You won't be bothered by anybody trying to call while you're playing, and no ads. Just saying.
Yeah,
that's true.
But all right, cool. Well, you guys have any last comments before we log off?
I think I've said all my piece.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on today.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. And Scott, looking forward to seeing your new helmet.
Oh man, I can't wait. I've got it ordered. I've already got the plans laid out, just waiting for it to come in. I do want to say before we go, my heart is going out to Asheville, North Carolina, all of our friends and families out there, praying for you guys. Hope everything works out. And please, if anybody watching wants to donate, find a way to do it, because they definitely need the help right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a scary year in weather, and it's still continuing. So, but otherwise, all right. Well, everybody else watching, I appreciate y'all. If you could please like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the Facebook realm, please like that page and share us. And finally, go hang out with us on Team Super Shoe on Facebook. It's a group on Facebook where we have much more conversation than we do here. Otherwise, y'all, I appreciate you. Y'all, God bless. Stay safe and go Corps les Joies.